Hello everyone, today I have 7 cards to share using the Simon Says stamp kit from March 2021 called Spring Windows. So this is just showing you the overview sheet. Jumping right into card number 1, there's this lovely pattern paper. I'm calling it pink lattice, and then they are double-sided, and we only have one of each pattern, so you kind of have to choose, which is sort of sad, but I chose the pink side. And then I have this black floral pattern and this rain boot pattern. And at the beginning, I put up the measurements for the pieces that I'm using in these cards. So I'm going to glue these down and have them kind of offset on each other. And you can see the back side of the rain boots. There was the stripe. So then I'm going to do a little focal cluster in the bottom left I used the watercolor card that comes in the kit and cut it out in the circle and just scribbled the distress marker that comes in the kit and added water to get that really light coating of the green there. And I don't even remember what color comes in the kit, but it says on that first card, that green one. And so then I've stamped out the stamp Love You with embossing ink and then used white detail powder on it, and I already did that off screen, and that's on a piece of black cardstock. I think that didn't come in the kit, but I had a scrap. And that's it for card 1. On to number 2. And for all of these cards, I made my own card bases, and that's included in the measurements there on the screen that I give you. The bee pattern's so cute, but I adored the floral pattern on the reverse side of this, so I do have a tiny scrap of bee, which I'm sure I'll use somewhere left over. But yeah, I just love the floral pattern, so I'm putting that as covers the full card panel front. Then I have another strip of the black floral that I'm going to place a little lower than halfway down. And then more of that pink pattern paper, and then these cut apart that come on the back of a couple, I think there's 3 sheets that have, one side has cut aparts, and I loved that sentiment. I must have flowers, always, always. Monet. So, of course I had to use it. So I'm offsetting this focal element here, and I'm gonna try to center the 2 edges there. And then for the final piece, I've used the sticker set that comes in the kit, and I used the one that says Hello Friend, and then put it down in the bottom. And that's it for card number 2. On to card number 3. I also loved the butterfly pattern, and thankfully I didn't love the back side as much, so I didn't feel as bad using the butterflies up. And again, I think this is just smaller, I believe, than the card front, like an 1/8 of an inch smaller than the size of the card front, so I'll have a little bit of white peeking out. Then I've taken a strip of the vellum and I've just creased the sides to fit it around. For me, that was easier, so I'm right now sticking it to the adhesive I put on the back of the butterfly sheet, and then I'm going to add a little more adhesive over the top of that vellum so it stays in place. So just a nice little strip of vellum. And I love how that looks. It doesn't really cover up the butterflies, but it just adds to the card there. And then with the die that comes in the kit, it's the word beautiful, and it also has the shadow I didn't end up using. I cut it out 3 times, twice in just a scrap of white, and then once in the pink that's from the pattern paper, I believe. Yes. And so I'm using the Glad press and seal here to keep it all together and be able to glue it. The other thing, I was really concerned about losing the dot on the eye, and that's why I initially put it on the press and seal, but it really helps me to place it exactly where I want it, and it was easier getting the glue on it as well. So I'm just getting a good adhesion here, and then I'm going to slowly peel it off to the right there. And I love how that turned out. It really worked. So I'm glad I didn't lose the dot for the eye. And then I cut a strip of white cardstock, and I used the stamp set here, the one that says, I hold you in my heart and thoughts. And of course I added a little banner at the end, little tails that is. And add some adhesive here, and I'm going to place that all the way to the left-hand side at the bottom of the card there. And that's it for card number 3. On to card number 4. We got all kinds of circles going on here, and I have put the dimensions up in the screen here, and I was showing my embossing ink, and that's the white detail powder I used, and then I used a Nuvo hybrid ink called Panama Rose, and I used that on the largest vellum circle. Again, I made my own card base. This one's a top folding one that I made, and I'm using the blue cardstock that comes in the kit as a card panel here on the front, and place that down, and then I've got this lovely other floral pattern. It has a nice green on the back, but I do just love those florals. And I do use that green elsewhere, but it was a scrap, of course. And I think I'm not sure if there's an orientation, but I felt like there was a better way, so I flipped it around. So here's the vellum circle that I'm going to place down in the bottom left corner here. And I'm just putting a little bit of glue in the center, not really adhering the whole thing. And then I stamped on it, "Wishing you a beautiful birthday." It's a nice curved sentiment that comes in the stamp set, and that's where I used the Panama Rose ink. And I just checked my ink swatches. I don't have a ton of inks, so that was the closest one. It worked well. So then I stamped this other stamp on this pink circle, but I didn't like the look of it. It didn't get a great coverage, but I don't know, I just didn't like how it looked. So I fixed it by covering it up, which is a great tool in any crafter's workshop. Or artist. I used that green and cut out another circle. And then I stamped it again onto, I believe that's a blue piece of cardstock. And I liked it a lot better in this layered look. And I think the green is the back side of one of the pattern papers. So there it is. That's it for card, I think that's number 4, right? Yes, on to card number 5. Again, a top folding card. And this time I used what I'm calling the blue lattice. The back side has cute little hats on it, but I love that lattice pattern. And so I am using the blue lattice as a card panel here. And then I'm taking a scrap of the floral pattern paper that I just used in that previous card. And I'm going to place that at approximately like a 1/4 inch from the edge of the blue and the top and bottom of the blue. And then I am using the cut aparts again. Oh, I loved this sentiment also. And this one's a cut apart, but I'm just using the back side for the pink part. And it was obviously not one of my favorite ones. I picked one of the ones that wasn't as precious. And so I'm just kind of eyeballing where I want them. And I make a little mark with my pencil because I really wasn't sure I could get it right back where I wanted it without marking that down. And I just covered up the mark with my little rectangle there. And then I'm going to offset the one with the sentiment there. Nothing in nature blooms all year. Be patient with yourself. That's a great reminder for myself as well as anyone. And then I am talking about my little focal point down here. So I have seen another YouTube artist do this with these kind of hand-cut circles, and that was where my inspiration came from originally, learning how to do that. So I used a scrap of the pink, what is that? The graph looking one, and then the light pink, and just hand cut a circle. And the great thing is, the less perfect it is, the better it looks. Like a perfect circle, I mean, it's a different look, but that wasn't the look I was going for. So here I'm showing you how I did it, and I just kind of crumpled it up. It's wonderfully forgiving, and yeah, it was fun to do. And so I layered the two pieces. This is a scrap piece of pink that I had, but I used the pink solid portion on the back side of one of the pattern papers in my other flower. So then you kind of just push it in the center and fold the sides up, and then I had a little piece of bling that I added, just that I had around right for the center of that. And for the leaves, I've taken, again, it's that pattern, it's one of the cut aparts, I think, that has the solid green on the back, and I'm just using my scissors. I folded it, get that nice crease, and then I'm just cutting kind of a leaf shape. So kind of like how you do with the heart, except you don't go back in to make the heart shape. And I really like how that turned out, and they're perfectly symmetrical in a lovely imperfect leaf kind of way. And so now I've got 4 leaves, and I think I end up choosing the 2 new ones that I just cut on camera for you, rather than the ones I already had cut out. So I'm arranging the leaves here coming out to the side, and I fiddle with it quite a bit, but I cut out a lot of that, I think. So get it right where I want it, and then it's time for some liquid glue, and man, did I struggle. Does your liquid glue ever just get clogged? And I've got these little pins where I can open it, like a sewing pin. I had to do that quite a bit and cut all of that out, but there it is. They're down now, and the glue is actually flowing now, thankfully. So a little bit of drama off camera there. And I'm using this little jewel picker to push it down right in place. And then, of course, I have to fiddle with the leaves a little more. And that's it for card. Is that card number 5? I'm losing track every time. Yes, card number 5. So on to card number 6. There's this cute pattern paper. I'm calling it Dangling Flowers. I mean, I try to title it with something brief, but sometimes, you know, it's hard to choose what to call it. So there you go, Dangling Flowers. And then I have a strip of the black floral, and then there's that strip of the green, which is the backside of that lovely floral pattern paper. So taking the green pattern strip and eyeballing the center point here and just placing it on the center of that black floral strip, and then I'm going to glue this down on the bottom portion, or like the bottom third of this card here. And then I have a scrap of the pink that is the back side of one of the cut aparts, I believe, and I have used the stamp set again. So here this time I used the stamp Spring Blessings, which I find right here on the top there, and then I used my VersaFine Onyx Black, and I put some mounting tape on the back there to pop it out and cut a little tail in there. And here is the other focal element. I have done all this on the water. I'm trying to show you the watercolor cardstock that comes in the kit. There you go. You can kind of see that pattern there. And I have this gray watercolor pencil. That's just what I had. I wanted a gray. Then these 3 come in the kit, and I use those. I scribble it out onto my little sheet here, and I added quite a bit of water to make it a nice light. And I did test it out on a scrap side of the watercolor before I went in to my stamped image. And so that's how I colored that, and it's not perfect by any means, but then I fussy cut it, which was, whew, that was something. And I end up pulling one of the flowers off because it was just not that one right there. Not quite sticking there, and mounting tape on the back of it, so it's sticking out. There we go. Lost that one flower, and you can't even tell, so just removed it. And then, I'm sorry I'm a little out of frame there, but that's it for card number 6. And the last card is, of course, a shaker card, so why not? Yeah, because the kit did come with that acetate, so I had to use it, of course. So this pattern paper is kind of a green grid. I thought it was a nice, simple-ish background for this. Yeah, for my shaker element. So placing that down, and then I am going to take the rain boots. They're so cute. I love that. And place them down on the bottom, near the bottom, rather. So I think I'm just kind of doing the bottom part of this card right now, and then I'll do the shaker. I have another little pink strip. There was a darker pink. This is like not the lightest pink, but a darker pink. Oh yes, and I used Distress Oxide to stamp out that window. And then I used a nice sharp craft knife to, there you go, see the blade there, to cut out the window part. And then here comes the acetate that comes in the kit, which is really handy. There, you can almost see it. It's practically invisible. Put it on the back there. And I have a nice rectangle of the blue lattice that's going to go on the back side of it. And here I have a collection of sequins that I found. I end up choosing this one, well, you'll see which ones I choose. So there's some of that Fun Stampers Germany one. Those ones, they're actually somewhat dimensional, like they're not flat. So much to my chagrin, I did end up having to do a double layer of this mounting tape. It's not too big a deal, and I definitely cut out all of that footage, but it was a sticky, tedious process, but it worked out all right. I needed a little more dimension to fit those in there. I think I could have done it without the extra dimension, but they probably wouldn't shake around much, and then that's not too fun for a shaker, is it? So I'm adding these other sequins. There's a little bit of a blue in there, and I wanted a little bit of blue because there is a light blue in the rain boot pattern paper. So added a little bit of those, and then it's taking all that adhesive off which, you know, let's just speed on from that. Put that lattice, blue lattice paper down to be the backer, and again the liquid glue. That seemed like the easiest. That way I wouldn't squish it too much. And then I'm going to place this down. So I guess I hadn't finished the bottom half of the card yet, but there I have my visual there of my pink strip of paper there. And then I'm going to take the stamp set, or not the stamp set, excuse me, the sticker again, and use the one that says celebrate. That way I figure, you know, it could be birthday, it could be a great accomplishment, it's kind of versatile. And it's a little too long. I think that was a 2-inch, and I trim it down a bit, so I think I wasn't sure if I was going to do tails, like make it a banner again, but I chose not to on this one, so. And that's it for card number 7. 7 cards this month. Pretty cute, and I'll put in some pictures here, or a picture. How about a picture here at the end? Oh, I'm just explaining how I colored that. Now that white paper that's stamped on was not watercolor paper, so not as great coloring. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you leave inspired. Have a great day. Bye!